Aloha. Today I wanted to talk about um, stomach stomach stuff and the storylines that get sold to our stomach brains, and the order of expansion, the order of um, entering into the self, I guess would be another way of saying it. But how we were created, as far as um, coming from not really knowing much of anything, and then becoming these beautiful, wonderful beings that we are today, full of all kinds of potential and energy and stuff we can't even understand yet. So I forgot about this. This So I was gonna go through this, the Mayan calendar stages, and connection to why they built the step pyramids the way they did, to also share storylines, but not just for one thing. But so each one of these days and nights within each step of this storyline, so from the cells to the mammalian, to the familial, to the tribal, to the cultural, you can see how they all relate, and how we individually and collectively and all over the planet go through this whole level of understanding within ourselves. And you can see how this can happen on an entire planet. And so it's a very intricate system, very very important to have this growth done the right way, not force it, and not have it technologically mimicked or pharmaceutically induced. That'd be a cool way to. I've never said that before, but it's true with a lot of these pills. That it's like a pill-dependent society right now. So I wouldn't be surprised to see some kind of new dependent pills coming out that are, yeah. So yeah, this is the main thing. Actually going into what I was talking about, or that I wanted to go into with this video, is with the stomach brain and what happens to our bellies, what happens to our from the psyche of our minds to our hearts, from our roots, all settling in our bellies, cause the heart ain't gonna have it. The heart will just chill out until the stomach settles itself, because there's a mind there that needs to be settled, as well as the mind of our brains and the minds of our hearts. There's a settling stage that allows this process to work more fluidly. And then there's the anti-fluid that exists to keep individuals and groups of people at a stagnant sort of space, sort of like zero, or next to zero movement, next to zero awareness, next to zero knowingness or connection. Divide everything and then conquer. That's the storyline of the anti-growth system. So this is one of the first, or one of the big things in the anti-growth world, is the relationship we have with our own bellies and each other and each other's bellies, and the mind. The mind. A lot of people don't know about the creation, how the stomach is in the beginnings of the creations of our usness, and before there was any other minds, like the mind, and the heart, and the, not the heart mind, but in this body, this stomach has a mind of itself. It's an intelligence. In order for it to do what it does, it doesn't come from our mind, like all of it. There's a lot of intricacies that are involved in the stomach, and you can see how a lot of this stuff settles in our bodies when we experience a certain reality, or you can see how eating can be an addiction. Eating is an escape. Eating is a dependency space. In order to feel better, like eating, it's a whole mentality. Just living in West Oakland, growing up, you're surrounded by liquor stores. There's no supermarkets in all of West Oakland. There's no so like going to high school there, walking to school, there's no, you're walking past like donuts and burgers, maybe a deli that's full of just disgusting stuff, and you got liquor stores on every corner. You got, this is a whole okay, so first of all, there's a whole encyclopedia cookbook for the Culinary Arts Institute, and this is how big it is. It's a whole thing. You're supposed to be very important, just by its looking at it anyway. Yeah, there's so many. So yeah, these ideas, these are all ideas that are implanted in our parents and our grandparents and us, that we pass on to our kids. We send these ideas around. And another idea is breakfast, lunch, and dinner, when no human being is that simple. No human being eats like that. That was invented. This is an idea that gets invented. We have to understand these ideas that have been invented for us to experience this human reality, and see which ones are not designed for our own benefit, and which ones are designed actually for our destruction of our own bodies, our own energy centers. So we have a solar plexus chakra in your stomach, and what happens to that when it's bombarded by chemicals, when it's bombarded by just food that's not food, like food like products, is basically eating plastic, or eating like diseased, this bad meat cooked or prepared in a edible way, or bad food prepared in an edible way, so you can have an idea of preparation, like an idea of something. There's nobody on this planet that needs to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner at exactly a certain time during this. It changes all the time. So if we can look and see that we're not as simple as just having we're not as simple as anybody eating like robots eating at a certain time of the day all the time. uh, if you're not that simple, then you are way more complicated than that, intricate. There's more there's more to everybody than that. So when we get our own harmony, and that's the main thing, it's about finding the harmony outside of the the designed structure, the designed human nature that has another intent behind it. Because a lot of these breakfast, lunch, and dinner, all that stuff is designed to make you think a certain way based upon an idea of reality or an idea of experience in a day, like going to work, taking care of the kids, going to school. Like, it's all designed a certain way, and we have these the side effects to these bogus designs that settle in our bellies, because a lot of the times that we don't even pay attention to the fact that we're feeding ourselves to do to feel a certain way. Yeah, like we're doing something to feel a certain way. Like, food is an act. Like, you're eating, it's a moment, and it's a good moment, and across the board, unless it's like you're not having a lot of food, and it's I mean, on a regular space, the food ceremony. So that's a better way to approach it. It's the food ceremony. How it just gets shut down. It just gets like, it's no longer even the existence of fast food. It just cuts the whole ceremony of food. If it cuts the ceremony of food, it cuts your connection. If it cuts the connection, it cuts your brain, your stomach brain connections. And then your stomach brain can't communicate with your conscious awareness to observe what it is that your harmonics need to balance out. And then when we're so out of harmony, when we're so out of balance, this stuff settles in our power centers. That's what it is. So it's shutting down the power centers with menus of self-destruction. Menus of self-destruction. That's what this whole book is. It's just a menu of for you to design your world. Look, they even got months, just January dinners. So tamale pie, broiled lamb chops, and I mean, most of everything in here is meat based. It's the old school meat and potatoes sort of. And you look on TV or even listening to music, you can't go through the day without being sold bacon. Many times. I mean, bacon is everywhere. Bacon, they are selling bacon wrapped bicycles and all kinds of. I mean, you can find a bacon there. You can go anywhere. I'm not talking about bacon anymore. It's just ridiculous. Like, all of this stuff gets set up. Like, it's like, oh, this is very pretty. This is successful. This is your dream. This is what it's all about. And these stories have been playing for a long time. These are all these old stories that are existing underneath the idol of our collective nature, and they're being sold. Like, when people say, oh, if you're losing weight, like, oh, you're losing too much weight too fast, or like, and you get down, like, what is that weight? Like, what is that? That's not stuff that your body is losing because your body needs to get rid of all this junk that it's been piling in for so long. And then there's a balance that each individual has that exists outside of the balance that the society has told you to be. And it involves a lot more than diets and going to the gym and running 1,000,000 miles a day and all this other nonsense that is only the physical body related or focused. It's beyond that. Um, I was telling my mom a few months ago. She kept asking me about stuff, and I was just sharing with her. It's like, look how quickly we're thinking about this right now. This is an entire process. We have to undo this entire book that exists within our society. We have to undo all these heavy books that are sitting like in our belly. Like this is like on. This is like what your belly is. It's like sitting. Anyway, yeah. Let go. Explore the harmonies. Until next time. Peace. Love.